if you're new to fly fishing and you're still trying to figure everything out, the casting, the light line, the tiny flies and knots, doing all that at night might be a little bit daunting. But if you've been fly fishing long enough, you understand there's some truly special experiences that await after the sun goes down. We'll talk about a book that explores this very topic in a really, really fun way today on Casting Across. Hi, I'm Matthew of castingacross.com, where I explore the quarry and culture of fly fishing. Now, I had fly fished at night a few times in my teenage years and into my early 20s. But once I moved to Pennsylvania and lived effectively on the banks of a stream I knew really, really well, I took many more opportunities to get out on the water after dark and fish waters that I already thought I knew really well. But what was unveiled to me was that there was so much more going on than just fishing the same place with a lot less light. And it was more complicated than just taking something like a big mouse pattern and jerking it across the surface, or finding a high visibility dry fly like this white wolf and hoping that the splash that I hear is indeed a trout taking this fly. And one of the books that was really helpful as I started to wrap my mind around the different approaches to fly fishing at night was L. James Bashline's Night Fishing for Trout. Now, this is the original 1973 edition. It has a couple things going for it. The illustrations are fantastic. There's another edition that came out in 1989, and there's a much more respectable trout on the cover than this one. And it also adds the subtitle, The Final Frontier, which is awfully serious for fly fishing. Both editions are good. I do like my 1973. So what's going on in Mr. Bashline's writing? Well, he is using that wonderful subgenre of fly fishing where it's talking some technique and some experience. So it's effectively the difference of getting a book of X's and O's and sitting down with a former player who's talking about the plays they've run, why they've worked, and some of his anecdotes as he ran those plays. That's what you get in Night Fishing for Trout, and that's what you get in a lot of the books from this era, particularly Mid-Atlantic guys. So this is one more book that comes out of Pennsylvania, but it certainly is applicable anywhere and everywhere. And it's kind of cool because there's this shared universe of fly fishing library where a lot of the folks that Mr. Bashline talks about here are other people that I've referenced in other books, authors in their own right. So it goes through a number of different techniques and concepts, the equipment you use, where you ought to be casting, how you ought to be casting, some of the flies that are particularly helpful. I've already talked about that a little bit. But again, he shares his anecdotes and some of the ways that he approached the water that he then says, ergo, here is a technique or a tactic that you can use. But another fun thing about this 1973 book is, again, the illustrations. I mean, honestly, we've got a trout looking hungry with a lantern. I mean, that can't happen. The light would put it out, or the water would put out the light. But it's truly a good book. There are, again, there's classic flies that he is using to fish for trout at night. Another great illustration right here. He talks about the use of terrestrials, talks about the use of streamers, talks about nymphs and dries. And once again, in 1973, they were using all these flies, but their first impulse wasn't necessarily to get the largest streamer that could move the most water and create the biggest disturbance and hopefully catch that one kind of alpha predator brown trout that was in the water. Now, he's going after those fish. He talks about going after those fish, but it's a much more kind of fully orbed approach to night fishing that Bashline talks about in this book. So there's other books that have come out on the topic, but again, this one has a little bit more soul, a little more heart. I think you see that in the illustrations of the book itself. It's a fun read. It's a relatively easy read. Again, it goes through more than just how to go out and how to catch fish. It actually gives a justification. That's how the book starts off. A justification for why you ought to fish at night. A couple of cautions as to what you ought to do as you head out on the water after dark. I'll put a link to where you can find this book. It is not in print anymore, but you can easily get the updated copy. Not super cheap, but this is also a book I have seen in used bookstores quite a bit. So grab this book, get some big ugly flies, get a nice headlamp so that you can go out there and see what you're doing and do it safely, and try to catch some big trout or small trout, any trout, at night. then head over to castingacross.com for 3 posts a week on the people, places, and things that go into the pursuit of fish.